Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll begin shortly. Till then, would love to see the energy in this room. Maybe share, which place are you joining us from? Which brand are you guys representing? Would love to hear your thoughts on the chat box. By the way, I'm Sonakshi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Manifest AI. And today we are going to discuss the agent architecture for high growth beauty brands. It's going to be super exciting conversation. I believe each one of us have their own thoughts when it comes to agentic commerce. But today we are going to bust some of the myths and also make your life easy in terms of what it exactly means. Amazing. So, guys, before I start, whatever questions you may have, feel free to put that on the chat box. We'll reserve the last 5 to 10 minutes to cover your questions. So, be as open as possible, as honest as possible. Even if it sounds silly, go ahead and ask them. So, quickly beginning, I am Sonakshi. I'm the co founder and CEO of Manifest AI. What is manifest? We'll cover that later. It's not an important topic right now. But what we are going to discuss right now is the AI agent architecture for high growth beauty brands. What we mean by architecture, we hear so much, that agentic commerce is the next thing, and the way the commerce has been done so far is going to dramatically change in upcoming years. But what it exactly means, how to, envision that for the brand that I am or we all are working today? And how do we also ensure that the current kind of architecture that we have deployed with different tools, how does agentic commerce sit with them? That is all we are going to discuss today. And I've also gotten few live examples to showcase you how it looks. But yeah, that's going to be the topic. So let's get started. Little bit about me. At Manifest, we work with about 500 plus DTC brands across the globe. Brands like Travel Pro, Durex, Choose Beauty, and more are our customers. And I really, really are fond of dogs. So, no, this is not my dog, but yeah, I love dogs a lot. Okay, jumping on to the topic, I'll just make this small. If you look at today's presence of any brand, you take any DTC brand today, specifically beauty brands, there's a team or there's a person handling social media, especially the engagements on social media. Let's say you guys are running a collab with an influencer, or you guys are posting some frequent tutorials over there, or if you guys are building a community on your Instagram, there's a team or a person dedicated doing that. Then, it comes your website, where the real action happens, where real add to cart happens, where real checkout happens. Then there's a team dedicated ensuring that it's always top class and there's the right funnel that's running behind that engine of the brand. And lastly, there is a support team that's ensuring that any kind of escalation, whether it's post purchase, and even if it could be a pre purchase or anything related to brand, there's a support team that's handling your email inbox and the other places where you get support and escalation. Versus how we envision agentic commerce going forward is something like this, there's a brand's agentic layer that is going to be a single AI brain for any brand. So let's say if you take an example of Juice Beauty, they're going to build their agentic layer at a single place, one brain that they are going to train fully end to end. And then they will spin off agents that can do different things. For example, an agent which is specifically trained to handle ID tutorial engagements. Another agent which is specifically trained to become the best sales associate on their website. Another agent whose job is only to handle support. So this is, a way that we envision agentic commerce to be. And this is not just a future stance. This has already become a reality. And I'm going to walk you through how this has become a reality and how brands have been able to adopt this, given there is so much of variable while choosing or while understanding what kind of technology is better suited. I'm going to talk about that, but here I want you to envision the agentic layer can spin off any kind of agent. These are just three examples that I gave you. Let's say in support, support seems easy, like I have put here, but it isn't, For those who are coming from a customer experience background, you must be well aware. In fact, as small as a use case like order cancellation, it keeps becoming complicated as a brand grows. Similarly, if it comes to, let's say, exchange, or let's say if it comes to warranty claims, these are all different genres in itself. And you can spin off any of these kind of agents in future using your agentic layer. So that's not going to be the problem. The only thing that we are going to understand today is the architecture you have to build in your map, the mapping you have to do in your mind to ensure that the steps that you are taking towards agentic commerce is making sense. So let's get started. And guys, again, any questions, feel free to put that on the chat box. We'll cover that later. Now, before we jump onto the architecture, I know this question must have come to your mind. What is agentic layer in the first place? What does it even mean? We understand there's Claude, we understand there's ChatGPT, but what is agentic layer in essential, and how it can fit into the minds of our brand? So first, let's, understand that. So this is how it looks. It looks complicated. Don't get bothered by it. I'm going to walk you through this. So the thing that you see in middle, I'm removing everything from my screen. The thing that you see in middle is the engine. This is going to be the mind for your brand. And this mind gets powered up by few multiple things, but at the same time, this mind has its own power, has its own understanding of how things operate. So this is where the engine starts. And from there, this engine powers up all the agents that you want to build. For example, you want to build a product recommendation agent, or you want to build a routine suggester agent, or you want to build, like for your Instagram, the people who are engaging with your tutorial, you want to build an agent to, keep engaging with those folks and, build that loyalty for your brand. And hence, this is the main engine. And these are the agents that get spinned off through these engine. Now, do not worry again. I know there would be a lot of questions on how this agent gets built, what is powering this agent engine, and how do I deploy it for my brand. I'm going to cover everything shortly. So first is, if we go back to, I'm so sorry, one second, guys. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing is it starts with your data sources. So if we talk about your data sources, it could be anything, anything and everything. And you don't have to worry about what format is it in. For example, in earlier days, you had to give a schema to Google to make it search ready, but now it's not the case. If your content is text, if your content is imagery, if your content is a social media profile, it all works well. You don't have to worry about it. So first is your data sources. For example, any purchase or routine history for your customers, if you have that handy, if you're on Shopify, if you're on BigCommerce, if you're on Salesforce Commerce Cloud, these are all, one-click pickups. But if you are on custom card, again, there are APIs to be doing that. Your engagement from social, skin shade profile of your customer if you've already built one. If not, that's okay. The AI engine will take care of it. Product and catalogs, of course, this is P0. Customer profiling, for example, when did they first had an interaction with your brand, or, when was their first purchase, what kind of products that they are usually interested in, if they did, a couple of events in past with your brand, for example, abandoning something in cart, etc., those kind of profiling. Then, any other external source. Let's say, for example, you run your own community and you want to put that as a data source. You can as well do that. Or, let's say, uh, I've heard, there are a couple of brands, for example, any beauty brand, they run their own blogs, which is very separate from their brand presence. For example, how Glossier was born, the founder had her own blog, and hence the Glossier was born. So, linking those kind of external sources is also considered a brand's data source. And lastly, support tickets. Once you have these data source handy, which you don't have to do much, it gets into a commerce knowledge and a memory layer. What it means is a place where uh, any agentic platform, any agentic commerce platform will have its own algorithm to build this commerce knowledge layer. So, for example, here, orders history understanding algorithms, inventory management understanding algorithms, subscription management integration and their understanding algorithms, then your information around shipping, delivery, or your customers' past behavior or discounting, anything that has to do with the commerce layer for your brand is an algorithm and agentic commerce platform deploys. So first is your data source. It gets ingested into the commerce knowledge and memory layer, which is an algorithm essentially which clubs all the data source that you have given, and the algorithm that is built bases, the smartness that this agentic commerce platform has been built so far. And then it feeds that into the engine. An engine is not like a simple engine where, it will just send data to chat GPT and get it back. Engine has its own set of intelligence. So first is intent classification logic, which I'll come to it later. Don't worry about that. Second is engine has its own product recommendation rule. These rules are based on the constitution that you would provide as the commerce knowledge and memory layer. So again, I'll talk about it. Then the model behavior, guardrails, search rules, and order handling behavior. These are the intelligence that this engine already has because it has the expertise of deploying agentic commerce to different brands at different places. So intelligence wise, it has those intelligence, but to power it up, you need different kind of functionalities. First is tool calling. So for any agentic engine to run really well, it has to do certain, let's say, for example, your AI agent was all about handling engagements for a beauty tutorial on IG or TikTok. In that case, you may have to do a tool calling to your loyalty tool. You may have to do a tool calling to your subscription management tool, where you really understand people who are engaging with your tutorials are also your loyal customers already or not. If they are not, engine behaves differently. If they are, then you have to, let's say you decide this engine should be offering them some discounts. Then, this tool calling can just call out your discount tool and then give it back. So it's extremely powerful. So first is the data source, then it goes to a memory layer, and then all of it gets fed into AI engine, which has its own guardrails, model behavior, blah, blah, blah. And then it also has a tool calling capability, which we deploy to ensure that your agentic commerce behaves as well as how your human team usually behaves. And then once all of this is built, then you can either spin off the existing agents that are provided by the platform out of the box, for example, product recommendation agent, routine suggester, etc., or you can build your own agent. That's the beauty of it. I know this is too much for one particular session, but I also will post videos and you can just go watch it out in depth. But yeah, this is how an architecture of an agentic commerce looks like. Now, the most obvious question I know for a fact would come like, how does it decide which agent to turn on and when? So if I go back, let's say if you deploy an agent whose job is to just take care of order cancellation, or you deploy an agent, we'll come to that, how to deploy an agent. But let's say you deploy an agent who's going to do just order cancellation, but there is another agent who's going to take care of order tracking or warranty claims. How does agent decide where to go? So now, I'm going to show you how it looks like. It's called intent classification. So in past world, I'm pretty sure you all must have worked with workflow builders where you used to put some keywords or you used to put events. So if there is a next event, then please go and execute this workflow. Or let's say if there is this keyword, hi, hello, then go ahead and do this workflow. All of those are things of past. Now, how agentic commerce decides where to go and which agent to pick, it is through intent classification. So through intent classification, there are two ways to deploy it. One is in Manifest AI's platform, the agent e-commerce platform that I'm talking about. You can either pick up any out of the box intent, for example, order cancellation, order inquiry, because e-commerce in general, there are typical 17 to 20 intents that you can pick up. Or if you want to use your intelligence even more, you can just define your custom intents. And these custom intents could be as open-ended as possible. For example, you want to deploy an intent who's taking care of influencer collabs on Instagram. You can just put that. You just describe it and it will take care of it. So first step is intent classification. It's for the engine to decide which agent this engine should be redirecting this request to. So that is number one. So whenever you are evaluating any agentic commerce platform or you want to deploy agentic commerce for your brand, first thing that you should ask is how does intent classification works? This is as basic as, let's say if we go 10 years back, it is as basic as, a workflow builder in a rule-based chatbot. So first is intent classification. Then, of course, once we understand, okay, this is how agent decides where it goes, the second obvious question comes is, but how do I build this agentic layer for my brand? All of this theory was amazing and people keep talking about it, but how do I really build it? That's the question of the hour. Now, I'm going to show you how it works. First is, again, very simple. First of all, guys, before I jump into this, we need to think of the world that we are moving away from a highly complex system and structure to a world where it has become super easy to deploy all of this. Earlier, Workflow Builder was super complicated. Agentic commerce is like not even, I would say, 1/100th of complexity of what it was. So the first mindset shift that we need to do is it is very easy to build. So first step is you need to define clearly in your mind what kind of agent that you want to build. Let's say for testing grounds, you don't want to get into complexity of, okay, these are 5 agents that I would want my brand to enable. Start with one testing agent. It could be as simple as, let's say, order tracking or order cancellation or a beauty tutorial. It could be anything. Then describe what it does. Again, simple, plain English language. You can put your own language as well. It's multilingual, so don't get bothered about it. But yeah, simple, plain English, nothing fancy. You don't have to be from technical background at all. So agent name, what it does, as simple as that. Then the next step is when this agent is enabled, assuming, this was a new hire that just joined you in your team, what kind of, guardrails and SOP you would provide to that new hire. Similarly, for this agent, you would put instructions. For example, here in the screenshot, we have order cancellation. So, it has said, before sending any Slack message or taking any cancellation action, always ask customer for confirmation. That's it. You don't have to build a workflow to do this customer confirmation. This is enough. If customer wants to cancel an order, call BigCommerce, get orders by email sorted by date. Always show the customers their order first. Ask which order they want to. Again, simple, plain English, like how you would have taught to a new hire that would have joined to your team. So give instructions, set up guardrails. For example, never discuss competitor pricing, always stay within the cancellation policy. So any kind of guardrails that you want to set up, you can do that here. But it is very, very essential. It's the most important step, guys. You'll have to, it's just like training your new resource. But yeah, once you do that, then the last leg, before the final step, the last leg is tool calling. Like we saw in the previous screenshot, it said, before sending a message to Slack, what it means is you can literally deploy agents where you can give command that, hey, if XYZ happen, please drop me a Slack message. That itself is possible. So if you see here, there's tool calling section where you can, make it call any kind of the tool in the world. It's not limited to, just like how Claude works, you can have any kind of connector in the Claude and get started. Similarly, here, you can integrate any tool in the world. It could be your loyalty tool, subscription tool, order tracking tool, anything that you may be using on Instagram, anything. you can put that here, and even your Slack. So it can do actions, it can read data, it can call data from another tool, it can do everything. And then you can also link sub agents. Let's say you want to have like a parent agent and then sub agents underneath it. But this is again a step two. We'll come to this later. But this is what I wanted to showcase from tool calling standpoint. And of course, you can set different AI models for different agents. So the layer that we talked about, the agentic layer, not necessarily, it is restricted to one model. You can have it trained in a way that every agent that is getting spinned off through that layer is having its own model. Because sometimes, let's say, order tracking, it requires an inferior model. Why would you spend more? But let's say if it's about handling massive brand campaign on website or on social media, then probably deploying a better model would make more sense. So you can choose your model at the agent level. Last thing, which is very, very important, guys, every agent has its own handover protocol. So let's say if agent fails, what is the behavior? Because we are not in the world where you can expect 100% of things gets handled by your agentic commerce, because it's new, it's a new technology. What we are seeing on an average is between 80 to 95% is where agentic commerce is successful. For the 5% of time, it's going to come to humans. So whether you want to take it to humans or you want to shut it off or you want to take it as tickets to your support team, it depends on what kind of behavior you like. Again, it's just like a text box, and you just need to put your instruction here and nothing like it. And because tools are already integrated into the agent, the handover happens very, very seamlessly. It also gives a transcript to your human, so you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, this is how the agentic commerce deployment looks like. Now, since we learned about how it looks, how we deploy, this is something that gives you a scorecard. This is where you would know that whatever you have built, is it ready to deploy or not. So what 85% means is that it's good to go. Anything above 85% is good to go. It tells you, probably things that you may improve, the unsatisfactory responses, or things that may need your help in setting it up. For example, it says set up product guidance skills, set up order handling skills. So you don't have to, go and figure out what's wrong, what's happening, and then fix it. Instead, you can just refer to this and get going. So it is as simple as that. It gives you that benchmark and scoring where you feel confident enough that, yeah, now it's time to go for it. So yeah, this was the last thing. Again, a few examples. You guys can open Overtone's website, or you can see it over here. The button that you see, ask AI about this product, or that widget that you see in bottom, or even on Instagram and other places, you can go try it out. There are different agents that they have deployed. They have also deployed a review summarizer agent on their website, which you can go and check out. Again, we are also doing a course shortly. It's not launched yet. It's a free course. We'll be launching it very, very soon. My team is going to share a link on the chat. Go and register it. It's more about how do you become a person where anyone comes and take advice from you when it comes to agentic commerce. That's the goal of this course. We are going to teach everything in depth of how this architecture is built. How do you deploy agents? How do you, also, let's say if you want to build a business out of it and want to start doing services in terms of deploying agents for other companies, you can do that as well. So yeah, go ahead and register it. And of course, I'm always here. My calendar also would be in the chat. So if you want to book a slot, feel free to be doing that. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Okay, so I think that's it for the day. Guys, feel free to book a slot. Feel free to join on our course as a wait list. I would be looking forward to our chat. But thank you so much for your time today. And even if you feel that a call is not enough, thank you so much, Mel. I'm also dropping my email. You can drop your questions over there. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day. Bye.